moment that all designers love. It's the moment when all of our ideas and clients' ideas come to life. It's the moment where all of the elements come together and work perfectly to create the home of their dreams. And this is the reveal, and I'm so excited to bring you in and let you be a part of it. Natalie Hager Interiors has been in business for 12 years. We are headquartered in Nashville, Tennessee, with projects throughout the country. And I like to think of us more than just interior designers, but interior storytellers dedicated to celebrating and honoring the design-minded, upscale homeowner's personal journey and unique aesthetic with interiors that best reflect them and their specific needs. Simply stated, we are dedicated to creating a home that tells your story. I'm Natalie Hager. We're in downtown Nashville. One of the things that I pride myself on is telling the story of my clients through the beauty of their spaces. And this client in particular was really fun and unique because of their story. Not only that, but we also got to incorporate the city into their space. Where there are cranes on every corner, instead of building in a high-rise, they decided to preserve this beautiful brownstone. And I'm so excited to share it with you and let you see inside. Everything about this townhome feels French to me, starting from the way that you enter in this secret side door entrance, almost into a closet-like industrial setting. Welcome to the second front door, which is actually this historic elevator that we wanted to preserve. We use this brass Art Deco elevator to sort of set the tone of this informal foyer. Another important feature to point out in this foyer is the client's story. The woman is actually from France, and so she has this Parisian heritage, which we decided to create our version of Versailles with this wall of mirrors that welcomes you into this space. When you turn the corner, you're greeted by this wall of a collection of mirrors, sort of evoking this, Versailles Hall of Mirrors interpretation. We took the mirrors from, the floor to the ceiling, which in French architecture, their art and their mirrors, everything filled the entire wall all the way up to the ceiling. And it also just creates this unique kind of experience that you get to see when you're entering the building. You step off the elevator, you're in the client's foyer. What's really unique about this space is the ceiling. In order to hide a lot of the different pipes and different pieces that are in the ceiling, we decided that we would cover them up with some beautiful antique mirrors that we have suspended from the ceiling. The focal point, though, still remains this beautiful chandelier, and it bounces light off the mirrors and continues this idea of the French design and bringing Versailles here. Another great thing that I love doing is incorporating my clients' own furniture and collections into their space. These happen to be some blueprints from the original Bridgestone rubber factory in Clarksville, and these we decided to put on the wall and make a really massive entry so that you would have something to look at that would play off of the beautiful mirror ceiling and this beautiful antique rug that we found at an antique market for them. One of my favorite tricks as a designer is not uncommon between a lot of interior designers. We love turning books around so that you don't see the title page or the spine of the book. Instead, you just see the white or the, manila color of the pages. I think this just gives you a wash on a wall instead of seeing all the various, chaotic colors and titles and words of a book. And so we turned all of the clients' old books around to give this, library-esque take in this bookcase. And it just creates a really pretty wash of texture and is really just cozy and inviting without being overwhelming and chaotic. So turning books around is a unique way to just make a space feel a little more designed and elevated and more cohesive. Because the hallway into the master bedroom didn't have a lot of architectural detail and almost feels sort of cave-like, we decided to do a chinoiserie wallpaper that gives you this panoramic garden-like experience. So we did the wallpaper from the floor to the ceiling, all the way down the hallway, even covering the laundry room doors with the same wallpaper, so that you get this beautiful garden-like setting when you walk down the hallway into the master bedroom. I also love the colors of this wallpaper because it's all monochromatic and sets you up to experience the master bedroom, which is, again, all of the wall, ceiling, and trim painted the same color. This is the master bedroom. It's serene and tranquil, and one of the ways that we tried to achieve this was through painting the ceiling, the walls, and the trim all the same color. Another way that we've infused these colors is in this headboard that's really basically the whole back wall. So this beautiful fabric headboard and these soft grays all kind of meld together. And instead of putting a piece of art above the headboard, I really felt like this chandelier spoke highly and really took the stage. So instead of putting it directly above the bed, we kind of put it off to the side and put it on a swag, which is something I normally wouldn't do, but it fit the character of the room. Another thing that's interesting about this space is the exposed piping. Because this is an old building, it just has some of these quirks, and so we couldn't drop the ceilings, or we really did not want to drop the ceilings, so we decided to just go ahead and leave them exposed, paint them again the same color as the walls and the trim, and they just kind of disappear. One thing that is unique with renovating this space is that we were able to make a really large master closet. In usually an old space, you end up with these tiny closets, and so we really wanted to make this a huge wardrobe in a dressing room. The client is very stylish. She's Parisian. She has a lot of beautiful handbags and purses and shoes that we wanted to give special places for. And so the idea is to keep this space organized, but also stylish, so it reflects her personality. This is one of my favorite parts of the master, is their master bath. It's very luxurious. It combines a shower and a tub in one space. The really unique features about this is the faucet is actually from the ceiling. So it's really beautiful and just different and unique. This floor is also one of my favorite details. It brings in a lot of Moroccan and French design. It gives you something interesting to look at. We also kept this beautiful brick wall exposed, and even into the shower. Again, it's just part of the history of this house, and we felt like it was important to preserve the space. We also wanted to keep this space a little moody and vibey, so we brought in a dark countertop. We have these beautiful, tall, gold antiqued mirrors, these really cool, unique Art Deco style pendants, and just an old, unique cabinet that pulls the old and the new and makes it a new, fresh space. This little nook that's right off the kitchen didn't have a purpose, so we decided to make it the homeowner's office. One feature in this area is this beautiful ceiling. We wanted to try and tie in the antique mirrored ceiling from the foyer into this space. And so we found this wallpaper actually, and it looks like old French antique mirrored tiles, and we put it on the ceiling. This light fixture was something that came with the homeowner, and it was important to have it in the space. So she decided to put it in this area that's small and just perfectly sized for this light fixture. You'll also see behind me all of these clocks. Because the client is international and has family all over the world, it's a fun way to bring in her story and infuse her personality in this space. There are fun little kitschy details you'll see behind me, this fun poster. These are all things that are special and unique to this client and make this space her own. There are a lot of antiques throughout this house, from the Indian wedding chest trunk to the series of the antique clocks in the office to some of the other small details and paintings. And my client loves antiques and art and has collected them throughout her life. So these pieces we uniquely incorporated into her space in areas that felt appropriate to keep things looking fresh without feeling super old, but yet telling her story and the story of these collected and curated pieces that are unique to her. Out of the master, you come into the main part of the home, which is the kitchen, and off the kitchen is the rest of this space. I love this kitchen because it's super edgy, beautiful, but functional. These clients are cooks. They love cooking and entertaining, so it was really important that we gave them as much functional storage space. We went ahead and did 2 panels for a refrigerator and freezer, as well as a full wine refrigerator. And then into the cooking area, we went with a double kitchen faucet and a galley sink. This is 60 inches of sink space. It has built-in cutting boards and a lot of other neat, unique features that make cooking and entertaining really unique and easy. Another great thing about this kitchen is just the edginess and the contrast between this Cristala countertop, which is white and light and translucent, and these really dark gray cabinets that go floor to ceiling. This space is set apart as well because we've got these awesome French doors that you can open up while you're cooking and entertaining, and you almost feel as if you're in France or in Europe and overlooking downtown Nashville. Because of the open floor plan, we did not have the opportunity for a large dining space, so we gave that to them in this island. We put 6 bar stools that swivel across the island, so you can really use that as the dining table. And these bar stools you can turn back and forth and look at the pretty views of Nashville outside the French doors. But then we also wanted to give them the opportunity for a small, intimate place to have a meal. So we gave them this beautiful Eames bistro style table that's a modern classic done in a really modern way with this black marble and these translucent chairs. The living room is so large that we divided it into two spaces. We have this comfy lounging area that has the two sofas, and we chose leather fabric to make it bobcat proof. The second space is more of a hangout space around the pool table, and we decided to make the fireplace a feature and make it feel more like a piece of art. So rather than putting it low where it would be obstructed by the pool table, we put it a little higher up so that when you are actually sitting down in the lounge area, you can see it to your right. We also use this really cool material, which is a metal, and our metal fabricator hand pieced together and forged together all of these tiny slats of metal in order to create this wash on the wall of a hand-hammered metal feature. This is the living room space, but what we wanted to do was divide it into two rooms. So we sort of have a little bit more of a lounge over in this area. We have low seating, really comfy, deep sofas. We put martini tables on every corner so that there's a place to put your coffee or a glass of wine. And then we kept some of the original architecture. One of these details is this fire escape door. We decided to paint it dark, make it sort of disappear instead of walling it over with brick, and keep the original exit sign above it. And then we chose some beautiful light fixtures, this really large, spectacular one above me that really sets the tone of this space, and then another one above the pool table, which is beautiful, and it helps separate these two spaces, making them feel like two spaces that are in one. The most unique feature though is this fireplace. This was something that wasn't here. We added this in because Nashville gets cold and it's always nice to have the warmth of a fireplace, but also the beauty. And instead of enclosing this in brick, we decided to use a natural material and go for metal and keep it edgy and vibey and just something fun, unique, and different that's kind of one of a kind. We used various metals throughout the house. We've got brass faucets mixed with silver forged metal fireplace details, mixed with silver antique mirrored glass, mixed with some chrome and nickel in the bathrooms, mixed with some brass handrails and black iron on the staircase. And I love mixing metals. It's a way for things to not look matchy-matchy, but yet still be cohesive and go together. It just creates a really eclectic, curated feeling as if things were collected over time. This is one of two guest bedrooms in this house, and one thing that we wanted to do in this space was bring some light in from the outside because there's actually no window. So we went ahead and did a glass door, so when the door is shut, you can still filter in light from the main space. Another unique feature is this beautiful cloud wallpaper. Since there's not a lot of architectural interest in this room, we decided to play it up with the wallpaper. My client wasn't afraid to push boundaries. So in juxtaposition with this beautiful cloud wallpaper, we chose some fun patterns. We brought in some fun colors. You'll see the cool greens that are in the lamps and the bedding and the artwork. And then this really fun pattern that actually kind of matches my dress, which is this leopard above me. So my client is unique in that she has a pet bobcat. It's the largest cat I've ever worked with and client, but it is her baby. And so it was really important to design around her cat and make sure that we had fabrics that were going to be durable and lasting for her family. This is the second guest bedroom in the space. Again, we brought in the glass door to bring the light from the center of the space into the room, but we chose a dark, moody, navy blue wall paint. We also incorporated that on the ceiling, but we did it in wallpaper. So you've got this fun, whimsical star pattern going on the ceiling that's playing against this beautiful gold light fixture. We kept the bedding comfortable and sort of French-like. And then we've got this great bathroom. It's quite European, it's very small and simple, but these spaces get the job done. As you come up the stairs, you'll notice how the brick transitions to drywall. This is actually where the old roof was. So where the drywall meets the brick, this is the new structure that we created from scratch. Welcome to the rooftop mezzanine, the 5th floor. The inspiration of this space really came from the idea of a greenhouse. We wanted to create an area that let a lot of light in and brought the outdoors in, similar to a European greenhouse or a French greenhouse, bringing in the client's story. And instead of orienting the sectional towards the wall, we decided let's not take away from the beautiful view of the courthouse. So we kept the sectional facing the courthouse, which then poses a dilemma about where to put the television screen. So we decided to retract it in the ceiling, which is great because you can have it up, you know, when you're entertaining and you don't want to have a television on, or if you're watching a game or a movie, it comes down. The other thing that's really nice about this space is we have an upstairs kitchenette and dining area, so it makes entertaining really easy. We also wanted to make sure that we brought in some of the client's personal style and color, and so we took these beautiful French signs that are a part of the client's collection and brought in a lot of the yellows and oranges in the decor and accessories. I am so excited to share this rooftop patio with y'all. I feel like we've saved the best for last. This is a beautiful space that started from nothing. We literally climbed up on fire escape ladders to see this rooftop before it was made. It was a bunch of asphalt and rubber roofing, and we had to jump through codes and different types of permitting in order to create a rooftop patio that was this size. It's the biggest at the time in Nashville that could be created in this fire area. And so we wanted to create a space where the client could bring all of her gardening, her trees, her plants up on the patio. And so the space is really used for a mixture of gardening, entertaining, dining. It has a lot of different uses, but one of the best really is just the view. There's a gorgeous view of the courthouse. Folks can sit here and watch concerts. There are a lot of concerts that take place. You can watch 2nd Avenue and the traffic flow and all the different visitors that are in town. I also love the graffiti. This was something that was on the building during construction, and we decided to preserve it, and it actually set the tone of all of the blues, the French blues, pillows, planters, all of the different colors that we used as accents and pops of color on the rooftop patio. to say that this has been one of my favorite homes and favorite clients to work with. I love that they were not afraid to take risks. I love that they shared their past and story with me in a way that allowed me to design a space that was unique to them, that shared their story, the things that they love, their past, and bring it into the present to create this really unique Parisian brownstone.